Hello, your holistic guardian here today to read you another story from my book, The Dessert of Creation. This is talking about women of the Bible. I call them the dessert because they were the last thing that God created and because the dessert is what we like in a meal. Today I'll be talking to you about Noah's wife and daughters-in-law. I was given this beautiful ark by a wonderful daughter of mine, Cassandra Dorch. She wanted me to have this for my museum, and I'm so proud to have it. And I'll be reading about Noah's wife and daughters-in-law today from my book. It begins in Genesis 6. Genesis 6 tells us that mankind increased on the earth, and that the spiritual men saw the natural women, that they were beautiful, and they took them for wives. This union of the natural-minded person and the spiritual-minded person produced wicked offspring, so wicked that all had to be destroyed. Many people were spread all over the world, and God looked from heaven and saw how wicked everyone on earth was, and how their thoughts were evil continually. God was sorry that he had made man. He was so angry until he said, I will destroy these people from the face of the earth, and I will destroy also everything that breathes. But there was one man who pleased God. His name was Noah. Noah had a wife and 3 sons named Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The 3 sons also had wives. One day, God came to Noah and said, I've decided to destroy all mankind and everything that breathes. I want you to build an ark of gopher wood, make rooms in it, and cover it with pitch. God told Noah the exact dimensions in Genesis 6:15. He said, I'm going to send a flood that will cover the earth. Everything will die, but I will make a covenant with you. Then God said, take into the ark male and female of every animal and fowl. Take more sets of farm animals. It is possible that Noah and his family could have been a small representation of all the present races of mankind that God was preserving. Just as he was preserving each species of animals and bird life, it is possible that among the 8 persons saved, they may have all had different kinds of skin tones, eye structures, hair textures, and colors, and differing body structures, the future family of all mankind. Noah and his family obeyed all the commands of God and were saved from drowning. God flooded the earth and killed everything that breathed. God made a covenant with Noah. He sent a rainbow in the sky. He said, this is a sign of my promise. I will never destroy the earth again with water. The daughter-in-laws are not named, but they tell a great story in their silence. They teach us submission and obedience in the face of worldwide opposition. It was a task to prepare the ark for the long venture ahead. Every kind of food was to be taken aboard the ark, not only for them, but for the animals as well. It has been determined that they were in the ark about a year. A huge amount of food had to be gathered and stored for that aquatic adventure. These women were talked about, laughed at, shouted to. They must certainly have pondered in their minds whether or not it was worth it all. But all we read concerning them is that they obeyed, and their obedience resulted in life when everyone else died. God still had his original plan in force. He was going to send a Savior to redeem mankind back to himself. He needed a spiritual family from whom his Redeemer could be born. In my summary, I say, trust is the most important aspect of spiritual life. Trust is obeying God when we don't understand the command, even when it doesn't seem logical. There's no place for logic among God's people. God's power defies logic. Logic is the art of reasoning or a mode